Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Parker, and I'm going to be talking about my mini grant project, the Sunshine Project. I first wanted to talk a little bit about myself. I am a 2025 graduate from the University of Houston downtown. I graduated with a major in criminal justice and a minor in history. I'm a 2024-2025 Newman Civic Fellow. I'm a first-generation college student, and I will be starting my journey as a first-generation graduate student at Sam Houston State University this fall. So the purpose of the Sunshine Project was to spotlight a local rescue. The rescue I partnered with was the Sunshine Fund Cat Rescue. The Houston and surrounding areas has a major issue with stray animals. We are in what many people refer to as the stray animal crisis. This is due to our weather climate and the warm conditions, and partly due to the culture that surrounds animals in the South. Animal rescues are at the forefront of the front lines fighting for these animals and their day-to-day needs. The main thing that I wanted to do with this project is I wanted to provide the rescue with a lump sum of supplies to support operational needs. And I also wanted to showcase some cats and kittens that have been in the rescue a while and some have some interesting stories and have a lesser chance of being adopted, so they can be seen and they can be heard as well. The main point of the project was hosting a webinar. I hosted the webinar with the founder of the rescue, Cynthia Long Pace, on April 21st. The main purpose of this webinar was to give her a platform to kind of speak about the work she does, the day-to-day aspects of running a rescue, and educate attendees on challenges that rescues face. Rescues often are overlooked. They don't have a lot of money. They're dealing with animals that have come out of deplorable conditions, hoarding situations. They have major health issues. They've pulled them off the euthanasia list and saved them, and they're having to deal with the more health complications that the shelters and different organizations don't have the resources to address. This is largely due to the fact that we just overlook animals within our society. They are one of the voiceless populations, and they're not often thought about. And the webinar kind of helped educate our attendees on some of these issues so they can go back into their communities and implement some of the things that we talked about and come out with a better understanding of how they themselves can be a part of the solution. So there were a lot of challenges with this type of project. A large challenge was trying to get people to attend the webinar to educate them on these issues. Attendance has been a large issue with a lot of the organizations within my university. Trying to get people involved was another issue because it's hard to get people involved and to get them back an issue that they don't fully understand. Another was getting organizations to simply share the fact that the webinar was happening and getting different platforms out to share the webinar and to share also the donation drive I was hosting for the rescue in addition to the webinar. Getting direct donations was also an issue. We tried to kind of advertise it on her page and along with some of her donation campaigns for some of the more sickly cats that are in the rescue. And then the final challenge was trying to determine which cats and kittens we should showcase because there are so many within her rescue that have their own stories and they are equally as important. So it was hard to determine which ones we should put out there and which ones that we just simply didn't have the time to. Outcomes: this project provided the needs for cats and kittens in the rescue for almost an entire month, so food and water. Some of the grant funding was also used for fluid supplies for an urgent intake that she received. The cat was found at a bus station and in horrible condition. We were able to get some additional donations through the donation drive that I hosted in connection with the project, which was amazing because anything helps these smaller organizations. We only had 12 attendees, but they received very vital information to help them and equipped them in how they can get involved in this issue. Even though we only had 12, that was not only the only impact, because we also recorded the webinars and it has since been shared out to additional viewers and listeners. So what can we all do to get involved in this issue is what many people ask. The one thing these are some things you can do. You can volunteer with a local animal organization. You can donate either physical donations or monetarily, and just offer your support. Share their platforms. If you have a local rescue in your community that's doing amazing work, share their work. Get involved in the TNR, trap and release movement, to spay and neuter cats, to kind of keep us at a point where we don't have so many on the streets that are suffering. Support legislation within legislation seasons and back animal rights groups. Ask for action from your local senators, your local congressmen, your local city council, because this is not only an issue that impacts animals, but it also impacts citizens within our cities due to safety concerns. So this project, we were able to showcase what can be accomplished with grant funds. That month, almost entire month of supplies, was extremely impactful for the Sunshine Fund Cat Rescue. It helped tremendously in offsetting some of the organizational costs and some of the medical cost. It helped showcase cats within the rescue that aren't often seen, because there are so many shelters, there are so many rescues, and we're often inundated with the fact of this one needs help, this one needs help, this one needs help. And it helps us show what can be done and what needs to be done to help save these cats and kittens off the street. We all need to do our part to kind of help offset this issue. We can all make a difference in this community. The way this project, I would have loved to expand it, but we could have expanded it through trap and release program in partnership with the operational costs, but in looking at what was more important at the moment, those operational expenses are an extreme burden for these smaller rescues. So that was ultimately what we decided to do with the grant funds. Thank you for your time and attention. I would like to thank Campus Compact and Will and Morgan for their support all throughout this amazing program, and my mentor, Dr. Marshall.